Hello, welcome to Gussied Up. This week we're focusing again on summer baking. Summer Baking Championship is airing right now on Food Network, and I want to show you some of the things that you can do to cook like a professional and to kind of utilize all the flavors of summer, but with none of the stress, none of the mess, none of the fuss, none of the muss. We're gonna make today one of my very, very favorite desserts, which is strawberry shortcake, and it starts with my vanilla cream scones. So 2 cups of all-purpose flour, very, very easy. Now you're gonna combine all of your other dry ingredients. So 2½ teaspoons of baking powder, ½ teaspoon of salt. If you want it a little saltier, you could add a little bit more salt. And then ½ cup of sugar. That's what's gonna make these sweet and make them really feel like a scone, make them feel like kind of that shortcake biscuit that we all love in the summertime. Now, people have real feelings about what is a true strawberry shortcake. Some people like pound cake, which is delicious. If you're that person, go back and watch my pound cake recipe. It is perfect for strawberry shortcake. But if you're like me and you really think about it as kind of a biscuit recipe, this is what you want. Just whisk that together with what can only be described as the tiniest whisk in the world. Look at how tiny it is. Really fun. Now, frozen butter. You can tell it's frozen because look, even with the strength of my fingers, it's hard for me to smush it. And I have very strong fingers. You can also hear that? Frozen butter. Cut that in using a handy dandy tool like this. You could also use your food processor, but I wanna leave them a little bit larger because I do want this to have a little bit of flake to it. Shortcake is supposed to be cake. Wait, is that right? Strawberry shortcake. You see I cut it all up. There's still some large pieces, but there's also a lot of like pea-sized pieces and smaller. Now, our liquid ingredients. We have our dry, let's go with our liquid ingredients. That is ½ cup of heavy cream and 1 egg. Couple teaspoons of vanilla. Now you're just gonna pour your liquid ingredients into your dry ingredients. I make like a little well in the center, and I'm using my wooden spoon that has a hole in it. That helps to stir. It works as like a dough hook almost, like a dough stirring wooden spoon. Together, don't overmix, but you won't. There's gonna be a little bit at the bottom that's not quite folded in, but that's okay because you're gonna use a little bit more flour when we turn this out onto our surface to kind of knead it. Dough's getting ready to get turned out. We have actual in-season strawberries that I got turned this out and over, and we're gonna roll this into a rectangle, right? So I'm just kneading till it all comes together. You don't wanna underwork your biscuit or scone dough. People talk about it all the time about overworking. They're like, oh, don't overwork your biscuits. But also don't underwork them, because if you underwork them, you haven't developed enough gluten, and they'll be like a crumbly biscuit instead of something that holds together. But like, look at how supple that looks. We roll it out to about 4 by 12. If you want, you can use a rolling pin. You don't have to though, but you can. It just makes it a little bit smoother on the top. You always encourage out. Encourage out. Encourage up. You see those chunks of butter? Gorgeous, right? Okay, cut it down the center, and then you cut it in half, and you're gonna cut it in half again. And you're gonna end up with these kind of little rectangles. It's okay if they're not perfect, right? Now we just put them onto a baking sheet lined with parchment paper so that they don't stick. I'm gonna brush these with an egg wash to make them golden brown, and also to help the turbinado sugar stick. Really golden brown. That's a little trick that we're always trying to tell the bakers, like the color is the flavor. The flavor is in the color. That's what Carla always says. Bake these 400 degrees for 15 to 18 minutes until they're golden brown and the centers are just set. Let these guys cool, and while we do that, we're going to build our strawberries for our strawberry shortcake. Look at how vibrant red. There is something about using a paring knife and like slicing to your thumb. That reminds me of my mom cooking when I was a little kid. Like watching her and thinking like, wow, she has such skills in the kitchen because she can use a knife towards herself and not cut herself. Look at that. I mean, you all look at the color, so vibrant. So I'll add a couple of tablespoons of preserves to my strawberries, and that will coat them. It'll give them a sweetness, and it'll give them like a gooiness and a like lusciousness that is so good for strawberry shortcake. To properly build a strawberry shortcake, you need 1 plate. I'm gonna do this little scone. I cut this open. Okay. Now strawberries get layered onto the bottom. Here, you need to get off of there, okay? Hello, strawberries. Look how shiny, they look like jewels. No, whipped cream. We just want it to kind of come out, right? Like that. The glossy strawberries, the whipped cream, and then the crunchy top of the biscuit, you guys. I have been waiting all year. It's been approximately 365 days since I had a good strawberry shortcake. Strawberries, whipped cream, biscuit, get in there. In my head, I was just singing, summer, summer, summertime. You know what song I'm talking about. The strawberries are highlighted here, and the vanilla cream scone is just fatty enough, just sweet enough, just creamy enough to really be a nice balance and a nice like juxtaposition of that strawberry. This is summertime on a plate. I know it would work with any berry, it will work with any fruit, any point of the summertime. You just need these vanilla scone recipes, you just need some whipped cream, and you just need to wait for the right season. And then you need to dig in, which is what I'm about to do. Go find some strawberries, make this recipe. I'll see you next time. Bye, y'all.